Hello, this is Sarah Tuberty, your host from Disarming Disability. Enjoy the following program on Public House Media.
You'll come check out my show, Confessions of a Military Spouse, where we dig deep and talk about the unspoken hard truths of what it's really like to be a military spouse. A new show comes out bi-weekly. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Confessions of a Military Spouse. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media. Welcome to the C. Jane Sell podcast,
a relatable sales podcast for your weekly dose of sanity. I'm your host, Chelsea Dupre.
And I'm your host, Lee Nevis.
Hey friends!
Welcome
to another episode of Your Girls at C. Jane Sell.
What's up?
So, this episode is going to be a little bit different than most, and we're pretty excited about it.
Oh, yes.
After a wonderful girls' day, and then 2 mental breakdowns, one from each of us within 24 hours, we decided if you can't freaking laugh at yourself, then...
Who are you?
Yeah, I mean...
You know?
Like,
what can you laugh at?
What can you laugh at, really? Because life just happens.
It does.
So, some of these stories that we have that we're sharing are things we found online from blogs and posts that people have shared of funny stories. Some are from our actual friends and coworkers that they're sharing. Some are funny. Some are not funny. Some are relatable. Some are just, you've been there, so it might be funny to you and not someone else, and well, then it's not for that someone else.
Absolutely.
It's meant for you, honey.
Yes.
Okay, sis. But yeah, so we wanted to share something a little bit different, give you all a laugh.
Mm-hmm. And we want to try to do this more frequently because...
So if you have stories, let us know.
Oh my gosh, please let us know. We will give you a little phone call, record you, because sometimes, like, I think that you can go through and you can, read as much, like, motivational, self-help, listen to inspiring stories, and that is incredible and wonderful, and I love that ish, and everyone else loves that ish, but sometimes you just need to, like, hear that someone else sucked, or, like, someone else's day, like, they messed up on this, so that way, like, you know that you're a human, and when you mess up, it's okay. And so that's what we are doing today here, because we just want to share some hilarious and ridiculous sales horror stories. Would it be horror stories? Sales?
Maybe. Some might be.
Yeah.
This is your weekly dose of sanity.
Hey.
Coming to you.
That's like in our intro.
Or something.
Oh my god. You're really smart.
I know.
Yeah, so, I guess without further ado,
let's do this, girl.
Let's do this. Enjoy these stories just like we did.
Okay, so, like, I do stupid stuff all the time. So, I mean, I can't compile just one funny story.
Right.
I'm a walking humor box, okay?
Totally.
But there was this time that my sales manager was on a meeting with me, and we've been on a couple meetings, and she kept calling the fiscal year the physical year. So we're sitting in a meeting, and she's saying something about, like, physical, your physical year is coming up at the end, blah, 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 blah. We're talking about the fiscal year, right? So if I couldn't correct her. She's
right.
My boss, A and B, like, she's my boss. So we get out to the car, and I'm like, I think when you say physical, you mean fiscal? And she's like, oh my gosh, have I been saying that wrong this whole time? Yes, you have.
Oh no.
So it's like,
oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah. So
that's the worst.
We all laugh about it now. I mean, I have gone from seeing people butt naked in the streets of downtown Louisville, and another one is my friend Adam Barron. I am notorious for saying, like, hey, I put a goodie bag together, I want to bring it by and introduce myself or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so he was like, see, you're a girl, and you can say that, and I can't, and you get away with it. And I was like, just try it, bro. Like, What are you going to lose? And he's like, okay, because I just set a pretty big meeting. And so he's like, okay, I'll try it. So he calls this guy that was kind of a jerk before. Mm-hmm. And he's like, hey, Bob, this is Adam Barron with Unifirst. I wanted to see if you had some time next week to get together because I put together a goodie bag for you. No thanks.
And he just hung up. Oh my god.
So anyways, that was pretty funny.
That's hilarious.
That was a pretty good one.
And that's a good example of not everything works for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a weave fall out in a meeting.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, I remember that story.
Yeah, a weave fell out. Been harassed by people on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
I had to carry a mannequin into a meeting.
Oh no.
You know, just like little uncomfortable things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Happens to everybody.
But that's the one I want to share for this time.
That was good. That was really good.
So just a little giggle.
I enjoyed it. So, next, stories. So these are actually 3 different blog posts that we found, and I wanted to share because they made me laugh really hard. And also it kind of like makes you realize that this even happens to like the most successful of people. So, one guy, his name's Steve. He's the vice president of sales at Altiscale. His story is, in the late 90s, I was working for Tivoli Systems, which I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right, which had just been acquired by IBM, and was working on a deal with Charles Schwab. At this time, enterprise software sales reps always wore suits and ties, even on Fridays. We were actually much more formal than other parts of the country. However, while my first Charles Schwab meeting cemented our relationship for the deal, it also challenged my wardrobe choices. To my surprise, when I entered the meeting at Charles Schwab, they claimed it was a no-tie zone and proceeded to cut off my tie and pin it to the wall. Ultimately, we closed the deal, my biggest one yet, which resulted in the ongoing joke that I could now afford to buy a new tie. That cracks me up.
Ha!
I think, like, if I was in that situation, I probably would have cried. Can you imagine walking into a client's office and them cutting off a tie that you're wearing, or, like, a jacket, or, like, a coat, like...
What would you even do? Thank you, I hated that tie.
Yeah, I know. So, that's actually pretty hilarious. So, second story is from Colleen. She's the owner of Engage Selling Solutions. Her story is... I'm an atrocious speller, and often autocorrect can figure out what I'm trying to say. In one email to an important prospect, I thanked him for his voicemail and then apologized for kissing him. I learned the hard way that spell check doesn't fix the wrong words, just the wrong spelling. The buyer had a good laugh about it, and in his response to me, I learned to always read my important emails out loud before sending them to buyers.
Smart. Not only is that funny, but it's a great tip.
Absolutely. I have a very similar personal story that just reminded me of, in a sense where I was texting a season ticket holder because they asked me to text them to set up a meeting at my last sales job, and her name was Trudy, and I texted her, and I called her Turdy, so, I was like, hey, Turdy, like, I'm about to call you in 15. I hated myself for the rest of the day, so that was embarrassing. And she ignored it, which is even worse. Like, I wish she would have said, like, LOL. Like,
well, remember that one time that I sent an email to one of your old bosses, and I spelled your name wrong?
Oh, yeah, you did that.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, Chelsea sent an email to my old boss and spelled my name wrong. So
there's a lot of ways spelling.
They were like, you guys seem really close. I was like, I swear she knows me. I swear she knows me. Oh, so that was funny. Those are some good stories.
So I had this, like, crazy sales manager, like, very, very micromanaging. And she would make me include her on, like, what we call, like, initial research meetings or presentations or anything like that. So I am, like, maybe I have an hour meeting scheduled, and, like, maybe 15 minutes in, I can tell it's not going well. Like, I have probably 8 people on my conference line, plus myself and my boss. I can tell it's not going well. People aren't interacting. They're not answering questions. There's just really not dialogue. And she says, so she cuts me off mid-sentence and says, Well, that's been brutal. I think that we could all agree. So let me just take it from here. And
Oh my God.
completely throws me under the bus and, like, points out the fact that, like, the first 15 minutes were literally, like, painful for everyone involved and completely destroyed my credibility with this client. So that's my first really bad story.
Oh, that's a good bad story because that's awful.
My second bad story is my second biggest where most of our sales happened like through like WebEx.
Mm-hmm.
I was like trying to like figure out my demo site and like resetting my password, and I reset the password for the entire demo site for the entire company. So our sales demo site was down for the entire afternoon on my second day, and I could only tell like 2 or 3 people that it was me because I mean the amount of money that was potentially lost in an 8-hour workday because not one person could do a demo.
Oh my God. Mary, that's really bad. I'm really glad you told me that.
So this is a story of someone I know that I cannot name because it is freaking embarrassing.
Those are the best kinds. I am so ready.
And I'm pretty sure she doesn't listen, so here we go.
Okay, good.
So she was in a meeting with another coworker, and at this meeting place, there was a huge woolly mammoth tusk, like a fossil, right?
Right.
And so she proceeded to ask what it was, and the guy's like, oh, it's woolly mammoth tusk. And she's like, man, those are just so beautiful. I love watching those on the Discovery Channel, and I love that they're like really bringing them back into the population. And he's like, and he looked at the other girl that I work with and was like what? Wait, you know those are extinct, right? Like hundreds of years ago extinct. So that was pretty funny.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
I love that they're bringing those back.
I love that they're like on the trend again.
Yeah, bringing back woolly mammoths is really important. I just think it's really important. Really. Oh,
Yeah,
that's bad.
That was pretty funny.
That was a good one. Girl, you're on. We're ready. You go ahead.
Alright, so I'll just tell the story. Alright, so and you can hear me fine, right? Because I'm on my Bluetooth in my car.
Oh, absolutely. No, you're totally good.
Okay. Yeah, so I was in recruiting and staffing for a variety of years, and that, of course, came with many stories. But one of the most memorable was I used to recruit scientists, and a lot of them worked shift work in manufacturing companies. And I got a call that one of the scientists in second or third shift had just basically been writing down results and not actually running the quality tests, which is obviously a big no-no. And essentially that was zero tolerance, and he needed to be fired immediately. So I called the contractor, didn't answer, left him a voicemail, didn't answer, emailed him, didn't answer. It was getting pretty close to his time to start work, and the client was too far away to drive and make it there on time to make sure he didn't go in. So I sent him a text to call me immediately, to not go into the plant. And then he calls me back, and I let him know that he's terminated. And then about 2 weeks later, he was unemployed, and in the middle of the day, I guess he was partaking in some things and was a little intoxicated on something and ended up sending me a dick pic. And then not long after that, a big paragraph about how he was watching the sunset. It reminded him of me and my beauty. He had never met me. And then he said, oh my God. Then said, oh my God, ignore that. And then probably 3 weeks after that, I got probably 3 to 4 paragraphs of a very sexual nature that made even our employee relations person blush. And I had to screenshot and send all of them to her. with verification that I had told the contractor to delete my number and never text me again. So we had proof I didn't respond to any of his sexual texts.
Oh my God, that's insane.
Yeah, so recruiting and staffing, y'all. If you'd like an interesting life, that'll keep you on your toes.
I love it. Oh my God, Molly, you're the best. Thanks for that story.
Is that a good enough story for you?
Oh, I think it is. Absolutely. We'll probably just end on that one. I mean, I don't know if anyone can top that.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, well, my friend Lauren, who's still in recruiting and staffing, told me they fired a girl the other day, and they deactivated her card, and then she snuck in behind somebody else and destroyed their mailroom.
Holy cow. That's insane.
And another girl showed up wasted, and they basically thought she was intoxicated at like 11 a.m., but they couldn't get her to the drug test facility until like 3 or 4, and by the time they got there, she was still 3 times over the drunk limit.
Oh my God. Jeez.
Yeah.
Y'all recruiting and staffing people. You're wild. You're wild.
Don't put me in that category anymore. I'm self-parking now.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Sorry. My mistake.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Self-parking and enforcement. So that was my past life.
You're the best. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Molly, for that beautiful story.
Hey, anything for you, Luke.
Thank you.
All right, you all. Thank you so much for listening in this week. We hope you enjoyed. We will try to do this more often.
Hope you laughed a little, related a lot, didn't roll your eyes too much.
Didn't roll your eyes. That is always our number one priority.
Yeah.
We don't want people to roll their eyes.
Because just so you know, my mom told me that if you roll your eyes too much, they're going to get stuck in the back of your head.
Oh gosh, I wish my mom would have told me that. Because
Yeah,
I roll
Mom,
my
she
eyes.
told me.
Well, I roll my eyes all the time, and I'm like legally blind. So there you
Well,
go. Mom should have told me.
Listen,
Scientific evidence, right there.
moral
Don't roll
of
your
the
eyes.
Story, listen to your mama, laugh at yourself, and subscribe to our show. And like, rate, review, subscribe.
You can do all that stuff. Follow us.
Oh,
Whoa. On Instagram at CJNSL Podcast. And we will see you next week.
yeah,
Right?
do the things and stuff.
Yeah, do it.
Bye.
Bye.